I'm a believer in holistic financial planning. That's what I want, that's what I get, and that's what I look for from my planner. And I often am reminded of what a planner adds in value to a client is the time Kim, who's with me, my wife and I, left our planner's office sometime in 2008. I don't know when it was, but I know our asset values were down quite substantially. And we're walking out of the office and leaving the office, and Kim turns to me and says, "You know, I always feel good when I leave that office." And it just reminded me, and I said to her, you know, that's what professionals do. They give people that peace of mind. They give them that confidence about the future and what they're going to deliver on. It was really important for me, and a story I often tell. But the story I'm going to sort of tell today is a bit around following on from the consumer things and how CFP professionals and financial planners will need to react and respond to consumers in the future. This graph here was actually taken, it says investment trends, it was investment trends, but it was part of a report put out by the regulator in Australia last year, at the end of last year, about making advice more accessible to more consumers. And I think it's something that's caught the eyes of governments around the world. How can we get more people engaged with financial planners as to what they do and the benefits that they can bring? Now, if you just look at the far right-hand column to you, left-hand to me, and it talks about all respondents. And what it says there is that 33% of people, this is in Australia, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't the same rather in other places around the world, 33% of respondents said they wanted their advice in a piece-by-piece manner, provided as simple advice. These would be the people who walk into a financial planner with a simple problem, expecting a simple solution, and might feel disengaged or disappointed if they're given a complete, holistic, let me say, more expensive than they thought it would be financial plan. And one of the things I'd say to you is, how as a profession do we address this need? Can we turn our back on a third of the population, or can we engage these people and turn them into the holistic advice believers of the future? And how can our financial planners do it? How can the CFP professionals do it? How can the firms around the world do it? And to me, that's a challenge in the space is we can't just maybe be all things to all people. We've got to understand what the consumers are looking for and how can we deliver that to the consumer in the space. Our challenge is to get those clients to move up to be holistic clients and understand that at times CFP professionals may have to give scaled or scoped advice to these people and win them over to become holistic clients in the future. It is a process, I think, of selling them on the idea, and as Karen talked about, making them understand the value of financial planning. I think it is hard to articulate it because we live very much in an instant gratification society where we're competing not just with other savings options, we're often competing whether people will go out and buy a new plasma TV or a holiday for their family. I think it's that sort of competition we've got for the savings and investment dollar and the planning dollars around the world. So I think we need to make sure that we can move clients up to financial planning, and how do we do it? And how do we address the needs of those 33% who actually want to get advice, but they're not sure what it will cost, they're not sure what it will entail, and they're not sure how to access it or how to get to it. So financial advisors offering scaled advice and qualified to move clients up to financial planning seems to me to be the entree. And it's quite easy for a planner then to point out to that client, we've solved this problem for you today, but here's the future, and open the door for potential other opportunities which I think will lead to a holistic advice. And I think consumers deserve the right, regardless of their wealth. If financial planning is just the regime in the future of rich people, we will be restricting our effectiveness on the sort of the wealth of the lands and the wealth of the community and the effectiveness of the communities. So the implications to me, how can we get more people through our planners, through our firms, introduced to the value of financial planning? And how can we deliver in a way that employees, clients can migrate more into more holistic, more understood financial planning relationships into the future? And there's actually bound to be more than one model. I get concerned where I hear people say, oh, I operate this way and I'm a professional, and if you don't operate that way, you're not a professional. I think that's not right. I think there are many ways to operate and many ways to show the professionalism. And you think at other professions around the world, that's what they do. They don't operate all the same way, but they always put the client first and focus on those outcomes for the client. So, question around that is, are we ready for that? And how do we take advantage of it? And how do we get those 33% to be true believers and using CFP professionals?